Welcome back to another episode of the Triple Coverage Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 5. My name's Mitchell Graham.
I'm Zach Brown.
No Cody Batten tonight, unfortunately, but he's too busy. But we have his picks. We're gonna be able to tell you what he's thinking this week with all his picks. Zach, we got a loaded slate today. But before we go into that, I do want to separate from sports for a second and offer our condolences to Charlie Kirk and his family. Charlie Kirk was a pioneer for basically the Christian faith and conservatism, especially with people my age and all the way up to your age. And he was an outspoken person. He was a great person. All he really wanted in life was to just have a conversation with people. And his life was tragically taken from us. His wife, Erica, his 2 kids. So it's bigger than football, basically. Yes. That situation is bigger than football. So in honor of Charlie Kirk, I wanted to take a 31-second moment of silence, if that was good with you, Zach.
That's fine.
So we can start right now. All right. Let's get back in. Let's get right into it, Zach. Do we want to start with recapping last week?
Yes. Let me pull up the games from last week. Also, today is September the 11th, so we also want to commemorate that as well. So we really need some football this weekend to kind of patch up the. Patch up's not the right word, but just to kind of get past.
Mend. We need
some of these things.
Yeah,
let's start with the Illinois Duke game. I didn't get to watch this game at all, but I was following it on my phone. It was closed for the first half, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Illinois, I mean, this is a legitimate Big Ten contender, I think. I mean, they absolutely dominated that second half. I believe they forced 3 or 4 turnovers in this game.
Yeah.
The defense looks legit. They were able to score pretty well. That was kind of the one downside to Illinois, was where they're going to be able to have a formidable offense. And they looked pretty darn good against a good Duke defense. So I'm really, really now circling that Illinois hosting Ohio State later on in the year. That's going to be a big one.
Yep.
But again, I didn't get to watch a whole lot of this game. I don't think Darian Mensah had the greatest games either. Luke Altmaier had a terrific ball game. But Illinois just outmatched Duke. They just had more talent. I don't think Duke's season's over. I don't think they're going to be a bad team, but they were just kind of outmatched in this game.
Yeah, and honestly, if you look at the box score, I mean, Duke outgained Illinois total yards wise. Darian Mensah threw for 334 yards, only threw 1 pick, but they lost 4 fumbles in this game.
Yeah.
You can't lose 4 fumbles and expect to win a game. And I mean, credit to Illinois, they capitalized on every single one of those turnovers. And that's what ended up turning this game around and turning it into the favor of the Illini. And I'm starting to agree with you. This is a team that plays really sound football. They don't turn the ball over much. They are a good run pass, duo. And Luke Altmaier is a very solid quarterback. So I think this is a team that can be very, very pesky in the Big Ten. And when you think of the Big Ten right now, you think of Ohio State, you think of Oregon, you think of Penn State. But I think Illinois is probably going to make their claim to maybe be in that Indiana position this year in the playoff. Because I don't know if Big 12 is going to get 2 teams, seeing how that conference is shaping up right now. So I think that's going to be I think this is a good team, and this was a good game up until, honestly, halfway through the 3rd quarter is when everything started really falling apart for Duke.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was a big win for them. The next game was Baylor at SMU. I believe I was the only one on this show that picked Baylor to win the game. It was a from what I could tell, it was an exciting game. Again, I didn't get to watch a whole lot of these games this past weekend. I was kind of disappointed that I wasn't, but we were in a golf tournament. I missed a lot of the good games. But Baylor SMU, another exciting one. It was a shootout the whole way through, and Baylor pulled out a big win. I think it was a must-win game for Dave Aranda.
Yeah.
And he got the win.
And I think it can do two things at one time. I know everyone's talking about it's like SMU still received more top 25 votes than Baylor, even after losing to them on the road. Baylor looked really good. And look, Baylor's offense hasn't been the problem. Sawyer Robertson's thrown for over 400 yards in his first two games, both of the first two games. The defense was the issue against Auburn. The defense did show it, which is crazy, but the defense did show that it was a little bit susceptible as well in this game. But Baylor, they played it out. Sawyer Robertson is a dog. And I think that Baylor's going to be a tough out in the Big 12 if they can keep playing offense like that, because Aranda's too good of a defensive coach for them to struggle like that defensively throughout the whole season. And then when you look at SMU, I think we all kind of saw it coming from this team. You know, you have such a big first year. You finish runner-up in the ACC. And now they've got a little bit of a lull in their schedule. They're going to go to Missouri State, to TCU. They're going to play Syracuse and play Stanford before they play Clemson, Wake Forest, Miami in a 3-week period. So
hey, that TCU game's not a lull.
No, I don't think so. But I'm saying ACC wise, they get to start pretty easy with Syracuse and Stanford, probably the two bottom, and then they get to play. I have to go to Clemson, and they get to host Miami. So there's time for them to turn it around this season, which, I mean, they're 1-1. So saying turnaround, I think, is kind of a little bit over dramatic. Yeah. But this is a big win for Baylor, like you said. And honestly, it made Auburn look even better, that Auburn came in and kind of handled their business against this Baylor team. So that's I'm sure we can get into Auburn later if we want to. But
yeah, well, Jennings, like, I've been impressed with him with his dual threat ability, right. But as a passer, I need to see more from him. And I think I mentioned that when we were making our picks, that he had a 25 QBR, and I think he had a decent game, but I think they're going to need to see more from Jennings down the stretch if they're going to want to get back into the ACC title race. Next game was the Cyhawk Trophy, Iowa State. It was exactly as I think all three of us probably thought it was going to be. It was a very close game, low scoring, and just a big win for the Hawkeyes, as they were 8-22.
Cyclones.
The Cyclones. The Cyclones were 8-22 against Iowa at home in this series, so that was a big win for them. Iowa State just keep impressing me every week. I mean, I know it was only a 16-13 win, but Iowa always has a great defense, even though they can't move the ball. They always have great defensive teams, and in rivalry games is not really a depiction of how good a team really is. The games are usually always very close in bitter rivalries like this. So big win for Matt Campbell and Iowa State. I'm sure the Matt Campbell to insert school here buzz is going to start ramping up once again, like we hear every single year. Yep. I don't think Matt Campbell wants to go anywhere, to be honest with you.
Correct, yeah. And honestly, and again, just looking at their schedule, Iowa State doesn't play another ranked team the rest of the season, a currently ranked team. Their toughest game, in my opinion, their two toughest games, they have to go to Colorado and to TCU. So, I mean, they have Arkansas State this week, Arizona, Cincinnati. Like, I think that we could be looking at Iowa State almost running away with the Big 12 if they can keep playing this physical brand of football. Rocco Becht is a very solid quarterback who again doesn't make many mistakes. They've got a great Carson Hansen's really good physical runner, and they've got good wide receivers and a good defense. So, I think Matt Campbell, will draw interest from Gainesville in Florida. I think Florida will probably look at him if they do move on from Mr. Whatever
Billy
his
Napier.
name is. Billy Napier. For some reason, his name left my mind. But if Billy Napier is out, then I think Matt Campbell's going to be a guy they're going to look at. Matt Campbell, as crazy as it sounds, might garner a little attention out of Tuscaloosa if they move in a different direction as well. But I agree with you. I think he's going to stay put in Iowa State. I don't think he's a very underrated guy. You know, he's a guy that kind of just wants to fly under the radar, and he's done a good job of that at Iowa State.
Yeah, so we weren't originally going to talk about that game, but since you brought up Billy Napier, let's talk about South Florida and Florida.
Yeah.
They were my super dog. I picked them to cover.
Great, yeah.
I didn't expect them to win, but I'm glad they did because they got me 5 points for winning that game.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of Florida fans say they want Golish as their head coach now.
Yeah.
And then they're willing, and
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a bad option. Golish has shown these last 3 seasons that he's a solid head coach. Their defense the last 3 years has been really good.
Yeah.
Their offense has been shaky at times, but I think now that they have Byron Brown completely healthy and he's leading this offense, Byron Brown is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna actually be picking this game later, but if South Florida somehow beats Miami, they have a case to be in the top 10. You have to put them in the top 10 if they beat Miami.
And we'll get into this later as well. I think there's a case that if South Florida was any other team other than South Florida, if they were a Power 4 team with the resume that they have right off the bat, they're probably already a top 5 team.
Yeah.
And if they beat Miami, they're probably number 1.
Yeah. They won't be. They won't put them at number 1 if they beat Miami.
No.
But they at least should be a top 10 team. If not, that's just a disgrace.
Yeah.
But
and winning this game, if they can beat Miami, I think they actually are affording themselves a little bit of leeway to lose a game that they're not supposed to.
Right.
And
honestly, their schedule from this point forward is not that difficult.
SC State, Charlotte, North Texas, FAU, Memphis, UTSA, Navy, UAB, and Rice. Right. I mean, we could be looking at 11-1.
I mean, if they beat Miami, I think they're going 12-0. I mean,
yeah.
Well, we'll get into. We don't want to spoil our picks for that game,
right.
and what do we want to talk about that game? But my question though with the USF Florida game is, what was Billy Napier doing, especially at the end of that game? And look, Florida is an elite hate watch for me, and I know for you too. Like we hate Florida on this show. We are certified Gator haters, and we're not ashamed to be Gator haters. But from an objective standpoint, I was watching this game and I was actually driving down to Johnny's Pizza to get some wings, like the last 2 minutes of the game. And I'm sitting here like, what is Billy Napier doing? What is up with all of these coaches sitting with timeouts in their pocket at the end of games? Yeah. It makes no sense at all what these coaches are doing. And then his explanation for why he didn't call timeout, he said, well, they're still going to get the 3 points anyway, so why call the timeout? That's the dumbest answer do you think you probably could have given in that scenario. One of my good buddies, Wyatt, is a huge Gators fan, and he thinks Billy Napier gave up on the team, and I can see his point. And if you're a Gator fan, I don't see how you stick with Billy Napier after this point. I don't see how you can still support him. He basically gave up on the team. He basically admitted in a press conference he doesn't know what he's doing with his clock management. It was just a bad loss. I mean, South Florida is a good team. Don't get me wrong. So it's not like a horrendous loss. It's not like they lost to UMass, but still, with all the hype surrounding this Florida team, with DJ Lagway, you can't lose that game.
Yeah,
you can't lose that game, especially at home. DJ Lagway has not impressed me yet this season. Nope. The coaching decision at the end of the game, you have the ball, you're up by like 2 points. You can run the clock out, and what do? They run 2 pass plays, 2 incomplete passes. To USF doesn't have to call any timeouts. I just don't know what Florida's doing down there, and things could get ugly depending on what happens this weekend in Death Valley.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of those things. It's like, yes, USF's a good team, but I really do feel like Florida just lost this game. Because you had the long field goal that was missed by their kicker, Gramatica, like the 58-yarder that like missed by an inch. They go 3 plays, incomplete pass, 2-yard run, incomplete pass.
That's what I was talking about.
They had the ball with 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Incomplete pass, 2-yard run, incomplete pass. So now all of a sudden they have the ball back with 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And that's plenty of time for them to drive. And don't get me wrong, great drive, right? 87-yard drive in 8 plays. That's great. But Florida could have iced this game with 3 runs. They wouldn't have had time to go that far down the field in 87 yards. They wouldn't have had 2.5 minutes. So yes, I think this is on Billy Napier. I think this is a loss that needs to be credited to him. It needs to be accredited to the play calling and the time management. Great win by South Florida, but Florida just straight up lost this game.
And Billy Napier also said that he is not surrendering play call duties. So take that for what you will. I mean, that's not a good sign if you're a Florida fan. The next game, Virginia at NC State. This game ended up being better than I think a lot of people expected it to be. Man, it was a shootout from start to finish. Virginia had to lead, I think, for a majority of this game, but NC State was able to pull it out at the very end. I did not expect this much offense in this game. I thought it was going to be a low-scoring affair, but again, I didn't get to watch this game. I didn't get home until like 5 p.m. on Saturday, so I didn't get to watch a lot of these games. But it was another one that looked exciting, and it's a big win for NC State there.
Yeah, I mean, look, Hollywood Smothers is that guy, the running back for NC State. Him and CJ Bailey had 2 really good games. Smothers had 140 yards on 17 carries. It's like 8 yards a carry. So just great run defense or great run game for NC State. And again, I mean, NC State now you look at them and they win a couple of games here. They don't have the hardest schedule in the middle through the middle part of their schedule. NC State could start looking like one of those, like Dave Doran's teams are every year, kind of just like a sneaky out, like a sneaky team to watch out for. Now, I think the defense is an issue because you let up 31 points to Virginia, which I do think is an improved offense, but still, that's got to be addressed.
Yeah. The Ole Miss Kentucky game. Kentucky just continues to be a thorn in the side of Ole Miss. Before this game, I think Ole Miss had lost like 3 or 4 in a row to Kentucky. They just seemed like they were like the thorn in the side, just like Kentucky's been to Georgia. Now we haven't lost to Kentucky, but it seems like we can never get a big win over them. And same thing happened. Ole Miss got a little bit of a sluggish start. I watched bits and pieces of this game, but ultimately Ole Miss was able to pull it out, get that monkey off their back, and win. But I thought they were going to blow them out. But it was a close game. I'm shocked Kentucky scored 30 points on that defense. I mean, that's the story of the day, or of this game, rather, is that Kentucky, with Zach Calzada at quarterback and no weapons at wide receiver, was somehow able to score 30 points on this.
They scored 23, defense. But,
I thought it was 37-30 was the final score.
It was 30-23.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Still,
it was a touchdown difference. Scoring 23 points on this Ole Miss defense. And I know Ole Miss lost a lot from last year, but they still brought in a lot of transfers. Right. And, I mean, and again, it's at Kentucky, but still, man, like, I don't know. Ole Miss, I wasn't extremely high on them this year. I said they were going to take a step back, but that's a little bit of a concerning game. And it's always tough to win on the road in the SEC. Kirby Smart will be the first person to tell you that. And it's a win. They won the game. That's all that matters. But a little bit concerning for Ole Miss in this game, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky played it to the way. The only way that Kentucky was going to win this game was how they played this game. They forced Austin Simmons into turnovers and put their offense into short field situations. Austin Simmons threw 2 interceptions in the first half, and then was a little banged up after that. So they kind of just relied on the ground game after that. And Zach Calzada, he didn't make any mistakes. He was 15 of 30 for 149, which isn't, I mean, honestly, it's obviously that's not very good at all, but he didn't make any mistakes. They ran the ball nice and efficiently. They ran the ball 37 times between their 4 running backs. And so that was the way that Kentucky was going to win this game. They just missed too many opportunities. And the lack of a pass game really hurt them. And the running backs for Ole Miss just made plays at the end of the day. And that's basically how this game cracked up.
Is Sumo Karngbe still on Kentucky?
He is not. No, they have Seth McGowan and Dante Dowdle.
Okay. I thought Sumo Karngbe was still there. Man, he was a thorn in our side last year.
He was definitely hard to stop. They've got a guy that's Seth McGowan. He's like 25 years old. So
isn't Dowdell up there in years too? I feel like he's played at 3 different schools.
He was at Nebraska. But he's only a junior. So he played at Oregon, then he played at Nebraska, and now he's at Kentucky.
All right, next game is the border war, Kansas at Missouri. And all I want to say after this game is, can we please have this every year? This was a great game. The pregame, I don't know if you saw the pregame where the guy had a chance to kick a field goal to win like $100,000, and he lifts up his shirt and it says expletive KU and kicks it into the KU crowd instead of a chance to win $100,000. Man,
awesome.
What a game. Kansas got off to a hot start. They're up 21-6, but Missouri, they stayed in the game. They were able to pull away kind of there at the very end. They just had better, at the end of the day, attrition wins. And when you have deeper talent, you're deeper at every position. Eventually you're going to outmatch the other person, but we need to see this game every year. I mean, just the hatred between these two teams was phenomenal. Great to watch. And I saw something earlier today that the Kansas-Missouri game was one of the highest watched games on ESPN2 ever. So we need this Kansas-Missouri game every year. That was great. I want to keep seeing it. But a big win for Missouri and Beau Pribula. Missouri is kind of just flying under the radar a little bit. Not a lot of people believe in them, including myself. And once again, they have a pretty favorable SEC schedule this season. They miss a lot of the big dogs this year. So don't sleep on Missouri.
They do get to host Alabama this year, which is a huge opportunity. They get to host South Carolina next week as well. They have to go to Death Valley. They get to host A&M as well. So there's a lot of opportunities here for Missouri to play spoiler. I really like Beau Pribula. This offense looks really, really explosive. They are big chunk play. Beau Pribula is really good at extending the play with his legs. I'm starting to like this Missouri team more and more as they play. I know we're 2 games in. They've played Central Arkansas and Kansas. We don't really know how good Kansas really is, but they looked really good. They looked really resilient in this game, and I think that was a good sign. It's a good thing to see from Eli Drinkwitz's team. Just another SEC team that I think is a really solid. We'll get into it when we make our picks. But I think top to bottom, the SEC is loaded.
Yeah. The next game was a shocker to me, Arizona State, Mississippi State. I remember I had made a joke that I was picking Mississippi State, and both of you were like, there's no way you're picking them. And it was a joke. I wasn't picking them, but maybe I should have.
Yeah.
Because Mississippi State came out and they played a complete game from start to finish. The defense looked great. It looked a lot better than I think anybody expected. The offense is still a little shaky. I think they're getting there, though. I mean, Jeff Lebby, I think, has this team headed in the right direction. So that's encouraging for Mississippi State fans. And for a team that I thought was only going to win 2 or 3 games this year, this one definitely being one of their losses, this was a big win for Mississippi State at home.
Well, huge. And now you start again, like what I just said. I think the SEC is really good top to bottom. This is just another team that Georgia's going to have to go play, I think, in Starkville. So with all the cowbells ringing, it's going to be a tough game. This is not just an easy win like you would think, which it wasn't last year either when it really should have been, but they put up some points and stayed with us. But I think the bigger story in this is how bad Sam Leavitt was. He 10 of 22, 82 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. They did not allow him to throw the ball very much. They ran the ball 51 times between their 2 running backs, and they had success on the ground. But this was just an all-out. This is a huge win. This is one of the biggest wins Mississippi State's had since Dak Prescott days. I mean, honestly, the maybe even like the Nick Fitzgerald days. Like the days where they were a solid team. This is a huge win for Mississippi State, and I love to see it. I like Arizona State a lot, but seeing Mississippi State, a team that really, they have never really done anything to Georgia to make me dislike them. So seeing them win this game with the cowbells ringing, it was awesome.
Mississippi State is actually the one team that Georgia has played the least in the SEC.
Yeah.
Other than the new opponents, they're one of the original members that we've played the least. The next game, Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. This game went about as I thought it would. I don't believe in this Virginia Tech team anymore. I think Brent Pry is going to be probably one of the first coaches, if not the first coach, fired by the end of the year. Virginia Tech has the talent to be good. They're just not well coached. Vanderbilt, man, I've got so much respect for, what is his name? The head coach.
Clark Lea.
Clark Lea. Clark Lee, I've got so much respect for him turning this program into a respectable program. I mean, are they going to win the SEC anytime soon? No, but at least they're not a bottom dweller anymore, and that's big for Vanderbilt football. Good on Diego Pavia. Like I said, I think they have probably the best tight end in the country on this Vanderbilt team, and they've got a big game coming up this week. But that was a good win against Virginia Tech on the road.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't watch most of this game, but I mean, again, another SEC team that's playing really solid football in the early of the season. Diego Pavia, we know that they can play spoiler, so we'll see. They got a big game this week, like you said.
All right, Boston College, Michigan State. I watched a good bit of this game as well. Boston College looked better than I thought. I actually didn't catch who actually won this game.
I'm pretty sure Michigan State won, right? It was close, but
I don't remember.
I'm looking right now.
I should have remembered that, but
Michigan State won 42-40 in double overtime.
Yeah, crazy game. The game, both offenses looked pretty good, and I wanted to see more from Aiden Childs, and I saw some good things from him. Saw some good things from Dylan Lonergan too.
Good. Who's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is a solid matchup between these two teams. I feel like they were similar in styles and play styles and what they want to do. But a big win for Michigan State, for Jonathan Smith, getting this program slowly back to where it needs to be. I think it's still going to take a couple years, but this is a good step in the right direction, and a heartbreaking loss for BOB and the Boston College Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, 5 touchdown performance from Aiden Childs, exactly what you wanted to see from him and his development and his growth as the quarterback here at Michigan State. Obviously, he followed Jonathan Smith. Obviously, he was a 5-star recruit, so there's the talent is there. This was a really good game, back and forth, and Lonergan might have outdueled him in the stat department, but I think Aiden Childs made the better plays at the end of the day. This is a great win for Michigan State, and another team that when you start 2-0, there's always that hope that arises in your heart when you're a team like this, especially when you win a game like that. They're going to be 3-0. They play Youngstown State this week. So watch out. I mean, Michigan State, another.
Yeah. Hey, don't doubt the Penguins. Don't doubt the Penguins.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
All right. Next game was the game of the week, Michigan-Oklahoma. And, man, Oklahoma looks like a real threat. I was a little concerned with some of the things I saw from week 1, but man, they answered those concerns. The defense played great, and Michigan, even though they have a quarterback now, still can't throw the ball. So I don't know what's going on with the offense.
That's a play calling issue though.
9 of 23 passing. Well, when I was watching the game, I think it was like midway through the third quarter, they put up a little stat on the screen that said how many times each Michigan receiver had been targeted and who had been targeted. And there was like Bryce Underwood tried to throw to like 6 different guys, but the 2 through 6 had all been targeted once. And the top guy had been targeted 9 times for like 2 catches. So I'm like, okay, this is a true freshman quarterback that's kind of got his eyes locked on one guy and is not going through his progressions. I think he's going to get better. He's obviously going to mature. Yes. He's going to get better. But this offense has got to figure it out. Now, props to Michigan last year. They couldn't throw the ball at all and somehow won 8 games. And now they have a quarterback that is better than both options they had last season. I think they can still have a pretty good year. But Oklahoma, man, John Mateer is already, I think, shot up the Heisman rankings right now. NFL scouts are already drooling over his ability. So Oklahoma looks like a formidable team this year. I was impressed with what I saw. I think some of my doubts and some of my worries on this team have kind of dissipated, and I'm excited to see what Oklahoma can do this season.
I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so. This team looked on paper. John Mateer is just that guy. He's a big guy who's quick. And the way that they can utilize him on the ground, and he was their leading rusher by far. He had 19 carries in this game. He did throw a bad pick, but other than that, I really feel like they played flawless football. And then that Oklahoma defense is flying around to the football. This is the team that Brent Venables, I think, wanted when he took over this Oklahoma team, and he's got it. They went in there, and I think Michigan honestly, I don't think Michigan really ever stood a chance in this game. I know they drove down the field later in that game to possibly make it close, but John Mateer and this Oklahoma team set the tone, and this is a scary team. This is a team that I am glad Georgia doesn't have to play, because and that's why I picked them to make the playoff and finish second in the SEC, because I really truly believe that this team is going to be nearly impossible to beat, especially at home.
Yeah, I was impressed with what I saw. And, the SEC is just too deep. It's just so deep everywhere.
I will note that starting with the Texas game, they play number 7 Texas, number 11 South Carolina, number 17 Ole Miss, number 15 Tennessee, number 19 Alabama, and number 25 Missouri to end their season.
That's going to be a gauntlet, man. That's a gauntlet. But it'll show how good of a team this really is.
Correct.
This Oklahoma team really is. I think in today's SEC, it is probably impossible to go undefeated. I mean, you have to have all around the greatest team at every position in order to go undefeated in the SEC now with how deep it is. I don't anticipate Georgia going undefeated in the SEC either. But let's get into this week's games, unless there's anything else that you wanted to highlight.
No, I think that was it, yeah.
I did see that Wisconsin's quarterback is not expected to start this weekend, so that'll probably be a pretty ugly game. That was kind of the only other – there's not a lot of big news happening around college football necessarily. No controversies yet. It's still early on in the season. So, but I'm excited. I can't wait for some college football this weekend. We need to get our minds off some stuff that's happened this week, and I'm just itching for some college. And Georgia has a big game this week, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So let's get into the games. Cody did send us his picks, and Emmy has made his picks for this week, my son.
Awesome.
So let's get into the first one that is happening tomorrow night. Colorado goes on the road to play the Houston Cougars. I've been impressed with Houston this season. They've got Connor Wegman. I like Willie Fritz as a head coach. Colorado looks improved to me, but at the end of the day, I think Houston wins this game and they win it big. I just think that Colorado is going to be outmatched at every position in this game. It's a home game for Houston. I think they're going to be outcoached, outmatched, all those different things. I just have a feeling this game could get ugly pretty quickly. Give me Houston to win this game and win it big.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have Houston. I have it close. I think Colorado is talented enough and actually more physical this year than they were last year. So I think that's actually going to naturally keep this game closer. I think Houston makes a couple of mistakes here. I think Houston's a much improved team with Willie Fritz this year. Connor Wegman's playing good football. Give me Houston close.
All right. And Cody is going to go with Colorado comfortable. So that's an interesting pick there.
On the road. Yeah, well,
on the road.
That's big.
My son has also picked the Houston Cougars. So nice. We'll see what happens there. Clemson at Georgia Tech. This is a big early season ACC matchup.
Yeah.
Again, Clemson's offense has looked kind of anemic so far this season. I have not been impressed. And I think other people are starting to catch on to what I said a few weeks ago. Is Cade Klubnik the problem? Because he's been the one main consistent the last 3 or 4 years with this offense struggling. Cade Klubnik undoubtedly is very talented, but for some reason this offense is not clicking with him as the quarterback. But with that being said, Mitchell, who do you have winning Clemson, Georgia Tech?
This one was tough, man. I mean, it's at Bobby Dodd. It's in Atlanta. Like you said, Clemson coming off a loss to LSU week 1 and then a struggle last week against Troy, where I think if it wasn't for the big delay, Troy might have won that game.
Yeah.
Because the delay just ruined all of Troy's momentum. They haven't looked good. With all that said, I think they win this game. I think this is a get-it-right game for Clemson. I think the team looks much improved. I think they're able to run the ball physically on Georgia Tech. And from what I saw from Georgia Tech, the Colorado game, they are turnover prone. I think that is going to rear its head again. And I think that's what's going to end up making Clemson win this game. But Clemson's going to win it close. This is by no means a blowout or even comfortable. I think this is a game all the way down to the final tick of the clock.
Well, in honor of Lee Corso, I'm going to say not so fast. I got Georgia Tech winning this game in a very close one. I think these two teams, again, play similar styles, and that's what's going to make this a fun game to watch. But I think Clemson's struggles on offense are going to rear its head again. Georgia Tech, I think, has enough of a smash-mouth defense, enough of a physical defense to be able to win this game. I think Haynes King makes a big play at the end of the game. Georgia Tech wins it by a field goal, and Clemson's season is all but basically over. I mean, it wouldn't technically be over, but losing to LSU and Tech to start off the year would really just kill the momentum of this team. So I've got Tech close.
That's crazy. I mean, and Cody picked Tech 100%.
Yeah, Cody did pick Georgia Tech close, which that's not a surprise there. But Emerson picked Clemson, so
nice.
We'll see. He picked against his own father.
There you go. Wow. But hey, he knows right, and he doesn't pick for Georgia Tech. He does not pick Georgia Tech.
That's right. He went 8-2 in week 1, so maybe I should just start copying his picks.
Yep.
But he's picking Clemson. All right, the next game, we alluded to this earlier. South Florida travels to Miami. This is a big game. I am absolutely stunned that the spread is 18.5 for this game. I don't know why Vegas didn't learn from last week at Florida, but why the spread is 18. If this wasn't a game we were covering, I would have picked him as my super dog again. There's no way whoever wins this game that either team is winning by more than 17 points. I just don't see it. But I am going to go Miami to win this game close. I think Carson Beck makes some good big plays. I think Miami is going to be prepared for what they saw on tape. And even though Mario Cristobal can make some bonehead coaching decisions, as long as he doesn't do that game, I think they can win a close. USF's defense is legit, and I think Miami has a good defense as well. But give me Carson Beck to make one big play, one big last drive to maybe ice the game or win the game. But I think they win by less than a touchdown. Give me the Hurricanes to win close.
I've got Miami, but I've got Miami comfortable. I think you said a good thing. I think there's more tape on USF now. Miami's going to know exactly what USF's coming into this game to do. And Miami, I think, is 10 times more explosive than Florida. I mean, Miami is just a more explosive offense. They've got a more proven quarterback who's not going to be shaken up by a team like USF coming in. They're going to have the home field advantage. And I think this Miami team's different. So I think they're going to win comfortably. I think it's going to be a close first half, but then Carson Beck is going to take over in the second half, and I think they're just going to be able to stop the run well enough to minimize Byron Brown's impact, and that's what's going to end up making a comfortable win for Miami.
All right, and Emerson is going to go with Miami, and Cody is going Miami comfortable. So all four of us have Miami in this game. So what that means, South Florida is probably going to win.
Yeah, it's not good.
All right, next one, Arkansas goes on the road to play Ole Miss. Not a lot of people talking about Arkansas. They're kind of another one of those teams kind of flying under the radar. Taylon Green leads the SEC in passing touchdowns. He's been great. Ole Miss struggled a little bit last week. Mitchell, why don't you take the lead on this one? Who you got winning this game?
I've got Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to go into Oxford and win this game. I just have a feeling about it. I think Taylon Green's playing really high, at a really high level. And I think Sam Pittman week to week is coaching for his job. I think they're going to get up for this game. It's going to be very similar to that Tennessee game last year where they went in and they beat them. They straight up beat them. They were more physical. Taylon Green didn't finish that game and they won that game. So in my opinion, I think that Arkansas is going to be able to pull this game out close. Ole Miss has some issues. If they can throw some sort of disguises or schemes at Austin Simmons, he's going to make a mistake. We saw that on the Kentucky game. We saw that he is liable to make mistakes. So I think he's going to do it, and I think Arkansas is going to win this game. Close.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Like I said, I do like Taylon Green. He's been playing great. But this Arkansas team hasn't really been tested yet, and they're going on the road to play Ole Miss. And winning in Oxford, as Georgia fans will tell you from last season, not an easy place to win a game. Nowhere in the SEC is easy to win on the road. I've got Ole Miss winning this game, and I think they win it comfortably. I think Taylon Green keeps the game close for a little while, but then Ole Miss is kind of able to. They're going to start. They're going to want to right some of those wrongs from last week against Kentucky, take out some of that frustration. And I don't know. I was kind of like you, but in the opposite direction. I just got a feeling about this game. I got the Rebels winning this game comfortable.
Watch out for a name, Omega Blake, wide receiver for Arkansas. He's a big guy. He's not huge, but he's a big receiver for them. I think he's going to be a big part of their upset win this week.
All right, and Cody has Ole Miss winning this game, and he thinks they're going to win it big. So that's a bold take there. And my son also is going to go with the Rebels to win this game as well.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Florida trying to bounce back from this loss going into Death Valley, which you never, ever want to go on the road to play at LSU. Is this a night game? I don't think it's a night game.
Yeah, 7:30 on ABC.
Oh, it is. It's a 7:30. So I already have LSU winning this game, but with it being a night game, I got LSU comfortable. I think Florida got exposed last week. I think LSU has a comparable defense to USF. I think they're going to do some of the same things. Billy Napier is going to be stubborn and not relinquish play call duties. DJ Lagway, I think he's either hurt or he's in his head, or maybe he's just not as advertised. He's not playing like I thought he would, or a lot of people thought he would. And I think LSU is just more talented at every other position. Give me LSU to win this game comfortable at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think LSU wins this game comfortable. I think the overall Florida's defense is capable enough to keep this game kind of close in the second half. But give me Garrett Nussmeier, Caden Durham, Aaron Anderson. Just give me that whole and that really good LSU defense to overwhelm DJ Lagway, stop the run. Yeah, I think LSU wins this game comfortable. I don't think LSU fans are ever really stressing about this game in the second half at all. Especially at night at Death Valley, almost impossible to get a win there unless you're Alabama. So, give me LSU comfortable.
Cody is also going to go LSU comfortable. So all three of us have LSU comfortable in this game, and then Emerson is also going to go with LSU. So it means Florida's probably going to win the game now.
No.
Next game, we have Texas A&M going on the road to play Notre Dame. This is a rematch of last year's game that I believe Notre Dame won. Notre Dame won this game at Texas A&M, so they're flip-flopping this year. CJ Carr, the weird thing is Notre Dame's only played one game up to this point, but I've been pretty impressed with CJ Carr. I thought he played a good game, especially late against Miami. Marcel Reed is also a very good quarterback as well. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Again, two teams that play somewhat similar styles of football. So it's going to be another good game there. Why don't you take the lead on this one, Mitchell?
I'm going to pick Texas A&M to go into South Bend and win this game close. I think that Marcel Reed is dynamic. I think that they're going to be able to push the ball down the field, kind of like Miami did against them. And I do think that their defense is good enough to, again, this is a true freshman. This is only his second career start. I think they're going to be able to confuse him. They're going to be able to stop the run. I think A&M wins this game close. I think it's a super low-scoring 17-13 type game that A&M's going to pull out. Notre Dame's going to start 0-2.
CJ Carr's not a true freshman. He was on the team last year.
He's a freshman starter.
He's a freshman, but he's not a true freshman. I'm going to go Notre Dame close. I think Notre Dame has to win this game to keep their season on the right path. They had a chance to beat Miami late in that game and just barely fell short. I think that's going to motivate them. And as Nick Saban has said, as Kirby Smart has said, many people have said, the greatest improvement you see in a team is between the first game and the second game. And I think Notre Dame, if that's true, which it rings true most of the time, if that rings true, I think they win this game because I think Texas A&M and Miami are probably pretty comparable in their talent and in how good they are. So give me Notre Dame to win the game at home, win it close. I think losing this game might derail their season a little bit, so I think it's kind of a must-win. Cody is going to go with Notre Dame to win this game as well, close. And Emerson has picked the Aggies to go on the road and win this game. So, again, picking against his own father. What a shame.
Yeah.
All right, next game, Vandy at South Carolina, another game we alluded to. This is going to be a great game. I think these two teams match up well. South Carolina's number 10, number 11 team in the country.
11,
yeah. Vandy has looked good. Diego Pavia is coming in with a lot of confidence. Lenora Sellers is a Heisman favorite. You know, 3 years ago, we would never have thought that South Carolina Vandy was going to be a big game. It was going to be an entertaining game. But these two teams, I think, are going to put on a show. But I'm going to go with the Gamecocks to win close. I think ultimately South Carolina is just going to be able to outlast them. I think they just have a little bit more talent, a little bit more depth, and Lenora Sellers makes a big play late in the game. Maybe they win by a field goal, maybe a touchdown, but it's going to be close all throughout. I think that the tight end for Vandy makes some big plays in this game to keep it close, but give me the Gamecocks to win at home.
I mean, I didn't realize I picked so many upsets, but I picked Vanderbilt close. I think they're going to go into Williams-Brice. This feels very similar to the Alabama game last year, a team that's, you know, started out pretty solid. I mean, Alabama was coming off beating Georgia. I think they were sitting at number 1 in the nation when Vanderbilt beat them. South Carolina's not sitting at that. They coming off a win against SC State, and they beat a Virginia Tech team that I don't know is very good, and didn't look super dominant in that game. So I think Vanderbilt's going to pull this off. I think Pavia is just that kind of guy. He's just a scrappy warrior type. I think it's another low-scoring game that Vanderbilt pulls out because of a turnover late in this game. So it's going to be a make-or-break week for me very early on in the season, but I've got Vanderbilt close.
All right, and Cody's also going to go South Carolina close, and Emerson is going with South Carolina as well. So you got a chance to get some points this week with that pick.
Couple of picks.
All right. Next one, Duke at Tulane. We talked about them at the start of the show. Duke coming off a tough loss at Illinois, where their offense didn't necessarily play bad, but they just could not hang on to the football. Now they've got to go on the road to play Darian Mintz's former team in Tulane. Yeah. Jake Retzlaff is having a great season so far. It's only been 2 games, but he's lighting up the stat sheet every week.
He feels free now. He feels free now, dude.
Yeah. And I'm going to actually pick the Green Wave to win this game close. I think Duke has a heartbreaker. I think it's back and forth. I think the winner kind of goes back and forth. Who takes the lead? I think the lead change happens maybe 6 or 7 times in this game. Don't. I know you're going to don't do it. I think the lead changes several times in this game, but I think ultimately the Green Wave pull it off and get a big win at home.
Not so fast. I've got Duke close in this game. I think the Mensah revenge game, he's going to be really motivated. Duke, if they could hold on to the football, they would have played a really close game with Illinois last week. They're explosive. They're really physical on defense. I think Duke wins this game. I think Retzlaff just has a couple of turnovers late in this game, like we saw in a couple of big games last year when he played for BYU. Give me Duke. Give me Darian Mensah. Duke close.
All right, and Cody's going to go with me, Tulane close. I think he's picked a lot of the same teams that I have and same results that I have. Tulane close, and then Emerson's going to go Duke. He's going to pick the Dukies on the road. Next game, Minnesota at Cal. There's a few games I could have put here. These two teams are both 2-0. Minnesota has exceeded expectations right now. They're playing very well, and Cal. Whatever you want to think about Cal, but their quarterback is actually pretty darn good. Sagatupalele, or however you say his last name, he is lights out. Sagapulele. He is playing phenomenal football right now. I think he's going to be a superstar. Probably won't stick around at Cal. Probably somebody will shake a bag at him.
No.
He'll probably go somewhere else.
He's a future Duck. He's 100% a future Duck.
Well, he was committed there. And then he was committed to Cal, decommitted to go to Oregon, and then decommitted to go back to Cal. So it's very possible that he'll become an Oregon Duck here in the next year or two. But he's a phenomenal superstar. With that being said, I'm going to pick the Gophers to win comfortable on the road. I just think that I've been impressed with their defense. I think they're playing really well, playing really physical. Again, I'm not saying Minnesota is going to be a Big Ten contender, but I think they're doing a little bit better than I thought they would at the beginning of the season. They play physical football, and I think they're going to put Sagapulele, or however you say his last name, in some tough spots. He's gonna make some true freshman mistakes. Give me the Gophers to win comfortable on the road.
Yeah, I think if Minnesota was at home, I would be picking them, but I just went home field advantage, so I picked California close. I picked Cal close. Minnesota didn't have the most convincing Week 1 win over Buffalo. I mean, they won 23-10 over Buffalo Week 1, which is, I mean, it's feel it out game. They came out, dropped 66 on Northwestern State. Take that with what you want, what you will, but I just think that Sagapugatele or whatever his name is, I think he's going to make some plays, dude. I think this, and I just don't think Drake Lindsay can win a game for Minnesota through the air. I think at home, Cal's going to win. So I literally think we've probably picked the same team twice through 9 games so far. So.
I think so, because Cody is also going to go Minnesota comfortable. So you're either going to pull way ahead or fall way behind this week.
Yeah.
And Emerson has also picked the Gophers to win on the road. Then, of course, the game of the week, the game that you and I are nervous about, anxious about, but can't wait to see. And we can spend some time talking about our dogs because this is the first game we've had to pick for them this year. But Georgia going on the road to play Tennessee. Tennessee's always a tough environment. This is the first time in the last 3 matchups at Neyland that I actually won't be at the game. I've been at the last 2 times we were there at Neyland. I won't be there this time. However, this is a big game. I'll be honest, I'm nervous about this game because of what I've seen from Georgia. My biggest concern is the offensive line. I think everything else, could be better here, could be better there. But if our offensive line holds up, I don't see how we lose this game. Kirby Smart, fun fact, has not lost at Neyland since 1999.
Yeah.
Even as an assistant coach, has not lost at Neyland Stadium since 1999. And look, all the pundits, all of the media are turning against Georgia. All of them have said Georgia's not winning this game. They don't look impressive. I even heard one guy say that Tennessee's defense looks more like a Georgia defense than Georgia's defense does, which that's probably the most ridiculous take I've heard. And to be honest, like they almost convinced me that we were going to lose this game, but I've heard this story before, guys. I've heard this story before. I've heard this, Georgia struggled against an FCS school, so they're not good. Listen, all that's happening in the media talking about Tennessee's going to win this game and Georgia's not very good, it's all just bulletin board material. This is exactly what Kirby Smart feeds on. So while I am nervous and while there is butterflies in my stomach, I'm picking the Georgia Bulldogs to win, and I'm win comfortably at Neyland Stadium. There hasn't been a close game at Neyland in a long time between these two teams. Give me the Bulldogs to win comfortable. Until the results of this game are different, I can't go any other direction because, again, I've heard this story before. Tennessee's being favored because they're playing better, and they just beat a team 77-0. They beat the Tennessee School for the Deaf and Blind 77-0.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You can run up the score on an FCS school. Doesn't really matter. We've seen this. We've heard this story before. I've seen this movie before, and I loved the ending to go against Taylor Swift's lyrics. I've seen this film before, and I really loved the ending. So give me Georgia to win this game comfortable.
Yeah, Zach, as much as we've disagreed today, I've got that exact prediction. I think it's Georgia comfortable. There has been too many times where Georgia's gone into Neyland with basically no chance to win. Oh, the team is bad this year, and Tennessee's offense is just so good, they're going to overwhelm them. I think that, again, this is going to be another situation. Tennessee's probably going to get out to an early lead. They always get out to an early lead against Georgia, no matter what. We let them score on a 75-yard touchdown the last time we were in Neyland.
First play of the game.
First play of the game. Dylan Sampson or something, I think, was the guy that scored that touchdown.
First play of
the game. And then we won, 41-7?
I think it was 38-10. I think it was the final score.
38-10. So I'm not worried. Joey Aguilar we've gone from people have hated on this guy to thinking he's like the next Hendon Hooker, when in all reality, he's played Syracuse, which I don't think is very good, And East Tennessee State, he's played 2 meh teams, hasn't even thrown through over 300 yards in either of those games. And I think Tennessee's a fine team, but I think Kirby Smart has Josh Heupel's number. I think Josh Heupel's offense doesn't confuse Kirby Smart. I think Kirby Smart knows exactly how to combat against it. And I think that all of this talk that all of a sudden Gunnar Stockton's a game manager, Gunnar Stockton's not a quarterback that can lead this team to a national championship is going to be shut up. Because I think the offense is going to get opened up. I think we're going to throw down the field. I think Gunner's going to be able to make plays with his legs, a la Stetson Bennett. And I think Georgia's going to win this game comfortably in the second half. I even think Puglisi gets a drive in the fourth quarter.
Wow. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but I would love to see that.
I think it's like 34-20 with or something like that with or 27-13 with 3 minutes left and Puglisi gets put in the game. So
I would love that. I will say this, all of Heupel's lowest scoring games were always against who?
He's never scored 21 or he's never scored more than 21 against Georgia.
Never. And I'm not saying that could change, that can't change this year. But again, Joey Aguilar, as you said, has not played. I thought Syracuse was going to be better than they are, but after watching 2 games, not very impressed with that team, to be honest with you. I don't think Fran Brown's impressed with his team. He made them run laps after they barely beat Toledo last week.
That was awesome.
So, and again, I'm not saying Tennessee's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but again, I've seen this movie before, and this happens every year where people start to question: is Georgia still dominant? Is Kirby Smart's dominance over? And that's always the game, a la Texas last year, that he shuts everybody up. And This is yes, this is the first big road start for Gunnar Stockton. But let's not act like this is the first big game he's ever played in. He played in the SEC championship game, and he started a playoff game last year in which he played well against Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yep.
We just couldn't finish drives off, and we turned the ball over. So I still have faith in Gunnar Stockton. I know a lot of people are frustrated about the screen game and Mike Bobo and the offense and all this and that and the other. Listen, I understand people's frustration with the screen game, but I heard a stat the other day that really put things into perspective. You know that the average NFL team throws the ball, 31% of their throws are behind the line of scrimmage, 31% of the time. Yep. That's just what the game is now. Screens are just part of football now. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. And I get
it's an extension of the run game. Yeah.
It's just when you're going to play back, and the reason why we've run a lot of screens these first 2 games, Austin Peay played 2 deep safeties the whole game and played lax zone coverage the whole game. What do you want him to do? You want him to throw deep on that all game? No, You take the screens, you take the easy yardage. And look, he's also not going to open up the playbook against Austin Peay. Let's be real here, okay?
Correct.
Kirby Smart has never been concerned with blowing teams out. He doesn't care about that stuff. He just wants to see development. Anyways, I could talk all day about this. I think the Georgia defense has another great game. I feel like this Georgia defense is pretty close. I don't think they're going to be as good as the 2021 team, but I think they're pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, just the way they've been getting to the edge, stopping the run. I think they lack a little bit of the pass rush that we saw out of the 2021 team. But even the 2021 team wasn't the greatest at getting home to the.
But think about this. I listen to Dog Nation Daily, almost every day now with Brandon Adams, and he made a good point on his show. He said, everybody wants to look at the sack numbers and, this team must not be as good as advertised because they don't have a lot of sacks. Georgia is never top of the SEC in sacks. Mm-hmm. So what really is a more valuable stat? Is it sacks or is it tackles for loss? Because Georgia's always up near the top in tackles for loss. So what really is the more valuable stat there? So
I agree.
Just make tackles behind the line of scrimmage, stop, stuff the run. And I don't think Tennessee has a chance, to be honest with you, because they're not going to throw the ball all over us. I don't think they have the weapons to be able to do that outside like they did in years past.
And that's the strength of our defense. is the secondary, I believe.
Is the secondary. So if we can stop the run, I think this game's in control. I think, like you said, Tennessee's probably going to score on the first drive of the game because they seem to always do well on a scripted drive. But then as the game moves on and progresses, things get different. I'm hearing Tennessee's got all kinds of wrinkles for us this year. I've heard rumors that they're even going to run the wishbone offense on a few plays. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go right ahead. And Tennessee may beat us. Streak has to come to an end at some point. But I got the Dogs. I can't pick against the Dogs. I think they will lose a game at some point this season. I don't think it's this one.
I don't think it's this one. No.
And Cody's also got Georgia close. And then to all of my in-laws, you may want to cover your ears for this one, but I promise you, I did not influence my son in any way. I put the red and black barn in front of him and the all orange barn, and I had no influence. And he picked the red and black barn.
Dang right he did.
So Emerson made his daddy proud.
Dang right
when
he did.
Picked the Georgia Bulldogs to win this weekend.
Dang
so
right.
Go Bulldogs.
That's great.
And I can't wait for the game this Saturday.
Yeah. We'll watch it. We'll be watching it together.
Yes, sir. Let's get into the Super Dogs for this weekend. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? I mean, I guess
I'll go first.
Matter. Okay.
This one I think is a little bit even bolder after the news, but I think Wisconsin's going to cover against Alabama. The 21.5. I just think that Wisconsin's got the type of team to where they can slow the game down. There's a true freshman. They have a true freshman at running back, Dylan Jones, who's electric. They always have a guy at running back. You know that. Wisconsin's always going to have a dude. This kid is electric. He is fast. He's twitchy. And I think that Wisconsin's going to be able to throw things at Ty Simpson early to keep this game close. Now, Wisconsin's not winning this game. If Wisconsin wins this game, Kalen DeBoer's not going to be coaching by the Georgia game. So, but I don't think that happens. I think it's a cover. I think this game's like a 17-point win for Alabama, maybe a 14-15. But I think that Wisconsin covers 21.5. That's just a lot of points. It's a lot of points between two Power 4 teams.
Yeah. Well, you think your pick is bold. Cody is going with Temple to cover against Oklahoma, 23.5.
Wow, that's
a bold pick right there.
Okay.
I wish you could be here to give his reasoning for that, because that's a bold one.
That is yep.
I didn't see a whole lot of options that I loved, so I'm going to go with the safe pick. I'm going to go UMass to cover 35.5 against Iowa. I don't think Iowa can score 35 points.
What kind of line is that?
I know. UMass to cover the 35. Now, UMass has been really bad this season. UMass lost to, I think it was Temple, 42-10 in the opening week, and then they lost to an FCS school last week. So I think they're very bad, but I also don't think Iowa is capable of even scoring 35. So
that's crazy.
I think they cover the 35.5. It's just the safe pick. I was almost tempted to pick whoever was playing UCLA, because golly, that UCLA team is god awful.
They're awful.
They're so awful. Bad. We haven't had a chance to talk about this team, and I'm just going to bring him up just because I want to talk about him a little bit. Is Utah? They finally got it. Devin Dampier looks pretty darn good.
He ain't staying there for more than 1 year. I'll tell you that.
That guy looks really good, and I think Utah's got a decent team this year. But
yeah, they're a lot better than I thought. I mean, they could win the Big 12.
Yeah. So. But that's our show for today. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah,
we hope you guys enjoy your weekend of college football. Make sure to never forget what happened on this day 24 years ago. Yeah. And also, let's not forget to offer prayers and condolences to the Kirk family as well.
Yeah, hug your family close.
Yes,
hug your family tight.
Tell your family you love them tonight.
Yep. All righty. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.